Peace, family. Grand Rising. Check in and let us know where you're hailing from, family. So good to see everybody. Peace. Great rising, grand rising, joyous rising, prosperous rising, wealthy rising, family. Check in. Today is Thursday, May the 30th. I think is it Thursday or is it Friday? It might be Friday. Man, is this Friday? It is May the 30th, 2025, and the time is 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check in. I see you all coming in. I didn't announce that I was going to go live until about 30 minutes ago, so I appreciate everybody that's here. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to talk about how Florida's governor passed a bill, signed legislation to make silver and gold legal tender. And that's good news for everybody because Florida typically leads the charge, either Florida or Texas. Plus, we already know that the stage had been set for America to start to reclaim silver and gold as money because you have the BRICS bloc and the Shanghai corporation organizations to all decide to stop trading with the United States dollar and use their own local currencies for trade, or go ahead straight out, use gold. So come on in, let us know where you're hailing from. Check in, family. It's so good to see everybody. Gold is now the standard, and this is something that President Trump has been saying he was going to do anyway since his first administration. That's why he nominated Dr. Judy Shelton to be the chair of the Reserve. So while you're checking in, family, I'm going to let you listen to a song that one of our Silver Soul Tribe members wrote for me and the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. It made my day. As you're checking in, family, enjoy this music, and then we'll get right into the show. It's a very short clip.
Dr. Kia Pruitt, shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she
Sorry about that, family. I guess something's going on with my internet. Can you hear? Let me know if you can hear me, family. Please let us know if you can hear me. I don't know why I have a tendency to have issues when I go live here on YouTube.
Dr. Kia Pruitt, shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear a call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
Well, family, I hope you enjoyed that song. I love it. I woke up this morning to that song by Brother Kenneth, who's a part of our Silver Soul Tribe group. And I was just ecstatic. In fact, I became very tearful because it just brought my heart so much joy to know that somebody, thought of me enough to write a song. And you all have contributed to my joy, just being here, acknowledging me and listening, also supporting the show and supporting one another, and just sharing information. Because what we're going to talk about today is something I've been talking about for a long time, but one of our Soul Tribe members, Robin, let me know that it is now etched in stone and that the bill has been signed. So everything is ready, and we're going to get right into the news right now, family. But before we do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, please, and consider sharing the video. If you are inclined to join the Silver Soul Tribe group, then you can join. We'll put the link in the chat, and we'll also make sure it's in the description. Our Silver Soul Tribe group members are comprised of members who are interested in investments like currencies, gold and silver, and we share intel, we share information as it relates to what's going on geopolitically, and not just the countries that people talk about like Iraq or Vietnam, but all countries as we come into the information about infrastructure being built in these nations, peace agreements or treaties or tariffs that are agreed upon in these nations. That's what we talk about in the Silver Soul Tribe group. And we also talk about other things, just to keep each other encouraged. And we share intel, we share our email addresses and our addresses as well, just because we want to stay in touch. So if you're interested in joining the Silver Soul Tribe membership group, there is the link right there. It is in the chat, and I will put it in the description as well. As I stated earlier, welcome again, family. Grand rising, joyous rising, wealthy rising, peaceful rising, rich rising, etc., etc. Somebody tell me, what is today? Is today Thursday or Friday? I can't remember. I don't remember. That happens sometimes when you work for yourself or you don't work for anybody else. Sometimes your days kind of get mixed up. So, is this Friday? I could just look it up. Somebody tell me, is this Friday, son? Oh, okay. My son said, yes, it is. So happy Friday. Yay! We got some good information and some breaking news for the Soul Tribe family. And that is that Governor Ron DeSantis has taken the necessary steps that it takes to sign a bill here in the state of Florida to recognize gold and silver as legal tender starting 2026. But we do know that those gold backs actually came out January of this year in 2025. However, it would be legal as of January or starting January 2026. Now, he signed this bill, which will recognize gold and silver as legal tender actually July the 1st, right before Independence Day. And that will allow gold or silver to be used in any transactions and certain tax payments. So that aligns with the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, that says that the only thing that can be used as money is gold and silver, and the only thing that can be used to pay off debts is gold and silver. The Constitution also defines the dollar as a fixed weight in silver. Now, the Congress Coinage Act of 1792 that was passed on April the 2nd, 1792, pegged the United States dollar to a fixed weight in silver as well. And that was the precursor to the gold standard actually going into law. So the reason why I know about the Congress Coinage Act is because President Trump had called April the 2nd Liberation Day. Now, he told us he called it or deemed it to be Liberation Day because that was the deadline for all these countries all over the world to meet with him in terms of talking about tariffs. And if they didn't agree to his tariffs or they didn't reach any type of negotiations, then it was going to be bad news for them. So that deadline was April the 2nd. But the second part of that nobody talked about, I don't want to say nobody, but he didn't talk about, is that day actually commemorates the gold standard or precursor to the gold standard being the 1792 Congress Coinage Act that was passed on April the 2nd. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a call. So hold on, family. We'll try not to make this long. When you have a constitution for our republic that says only silver and gold can be used as money, you don't really need to pass legislation or bills to say the same thing. But what you see happening is these legislatures or people that work for the United States Incorporated use the tools of the corporation and the deep state to align with our constitution for our republic. That's the same thing President Trump is doing. He's using the tools of the deep state, executive orders, to systematically demolish the deep state. He's using the tools of the deep state to downsize the government, to get rid of the IRS, to get rid of all of these 441 governmental agencies that incorporated themselves and said they were part of the government as a means to control us. He's using his orders to systematically destroy them because, for one, it's against our constitution for them to create all these different agencies and call itself government. But secondly, the Supreme Court of the United States this summer ended or overturned the Chevron doctrine. The Chevron doctrine, also known as the Chevron deference, allowed for all of these agencies to incorporate themselves and expand their powers, enforcing us to comply with their rules, statutes, codes, policies, and legalities. Those are not laws. They're codes, statutes, policies, rules, legalities. And that's why they seek policy enforcers or police officers after you when you don't comply. Well, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned that doctrine and said that not only are all governmental agencies, there's a list of 441 on my post section in my YouTube channel. Not only are they unlawful, but they are treasonous, and therefore they must be taken down. So yes, the IRS, the FBI, the EPA, all of those government agencies, even HOAs, which are governed by 3 organizations. The HOAs are governed by the Housing Authority, the ones that put fees on you. They're governed by the Housing and Urban development. They're governed by a U.S. Justice Department, and there's another one that deals with civil rights. All of those are government entities. So yes, HOAs will go away as well. So the Supreme Court of the United States determined that all those federal agencies were unconstitutional, treasonous, had to be dismantled. And any judge that allowed this to happen and forced you to pay fines or acknowledge them as governmental agencies, they are treasonous. They committed treason. And any judge that knew of a judge that allowed this to happen, they committed misprision of treason. This is why judges behind the scenes, and even at the forefront, because I've shown you a video of that, are being arrested. Judges and attorneys work for the bar, which is the British Accredited Registry, which works for the British Crown. The British crown is over. The Pope is gone. The Queen is gone. And the King Charles, King, whatever you call him, he will also go away too, because the United States Incorporated, which was a branch of the Roman Empire, that's why the Pope was over it, has been systematically destroyed. They're unconstitutional. They're a group of bloodline families that usurped authority from our republic. They don't have any money, and they are actually insolvent. In alignment with the Supreme Court of the United States overturning the Chevron doctrine, the Supreme Court of the United States also said that state-sponsored banks can operate outside of the jurisdiction of the Federal Reserve Central Banking System. State-sponsored banks can have their own charter, and state-sponsored banks can issue out their own gold-backed currency. This also aligns with Basel III compliances that says that now all banks have to recognize gold as a tier 1 asset, meaning they have to recognize gold as money, and they have to recognize tier 2 assets, which are your foreign currency notes, as being an asset. And that's why banks met globally last year to ensure that they were prepared to receive what they call tier 2 assets, or foreign reserve notes, also known as foreign currencies. So this just came out and it was published 2 days ago that Governor Ron DeSantis signs a bill that Florida can recognize or will recognize gold and silver as legal tender as of 2026. Here are the 2 main points. Governor DeSantis signed this bill and it will go into law, or it will be legal to use silver and gold as legal tender starting July 1st, 2026. But if you are part of the Silver Soul Tribe membership group, you already know that merchants are receiving gold right now, and silver and gold backed, for local goods and services to pay off taxes and to make big purchases. We not only talked about that in the Silver Soul Tribe membership group, but I gave you a website that you can go to, put in your zip code, and it will tell you the merchants that receive silver and gold right now. When this information comes out, when mainstream media and tells you it's going to start as of July 1st, 2026, that means it's already been done behind the scenes. We're ahead of the game here with our Soul Tribe membership on the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show, and all over the world, whatever souls we reach, you're now a part of our tribe, and we got you. We're going to make sure you're covered. The second bullet point is that the law, which is aimed at promoting financial sovereignty, meaning now you have rule, reign, and control of your own money, and you have control of your own life, and no longer does the central bank system or the Federal Reserve and the United States Incorporated control the monetary system. Now you're sovereign. That's why the horse named Sovereignty won the Kentucky Derby. Okay, because sports tells a story. It's rigged. They're controlled opposition. They're telling you what they're going to do. You now have Sav, that's over. Reign is rule and control over your own money, your own life, and your finances. So now they will promote financial sovereignty and exempt precious metals from the precious metals purchases from sales tax. Didn't I tell? I've been saying this over the years, almost a decade. I've been saying that gold and silver is money. And in most recent years, most like 5 or so years, I've been saying that silver and gold now in most states have been deemed as legal tender by state legislatures, repealing the state sales tax from the precious metals. okay, from the sales of precious metals, because when they took us off the gold standard, they deemed gold and silver as a commodity instead of money. So you can tax a commodity, but the Constitution for our republic say you may not lawfully tax money. They've been treasonous from the onset, okay? It's treason to tax money. So state legislatures have taken it upon themselves to repeal or remove the state sales taxes from precious metals, thus reclaiming silver and gold as money and acknowledging silver and gold as legal tender. And we'll talk about what legal tender is in just a moment. Now, we're talking about Florida right now, but I'll talk to you about the other 44 of the 50 states. Governor Ron DeSantis signed this bill on Tuesday, and it sets the stage for Florida to recognize gold and silver as legal tender. And this allows the precious metals to be used for transactions and for certain tax payments beginning July 1st, 2026. But Governor DeSantis has said before that he's going to take some time and he's going to pass some legislation. He's going to work with legislatures to do away with taxes. And that aligns with President Trump saying he's going to get rid of the IRS or the Internal Revenue Services and create the External Revenue Services, which means no longer will we the people be taxed, but we're taxing these other nations for doing business with us. And Trump has been widely successful. He scored very well in Asia. He did a tremendous job in the Middle East by securing trillions of dollars in trade deals when he was over in the Middle East, and he continues to do a phenomenal job. Those countries that don't want to comply, simply he puts sanctions on. But now those countries such as Iran and Syria have come to terms with the Trump agreements. Okay, so what do we know? We know that this legislation is aimed at bolstering financial sovereignty, means now you have control. The states have control. That's why state-sponsored banks can operate independently from the central banking system of the United States Incorporated. Okay, state-sponsored banks can issue out their own gold-backed currency. That was determined last year, but we've been reporting for years about BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, those Asian nations, and all the nations that joined BRICS. In 2022, was 85% of the global population was a part of the BRICS bloc, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Then you have the Asian nations, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, all of which have stopped trading with the USD, and now they're using their own local currencies, talking about a global currency reset and revaluation of currencies backed by precious metals. So that meant that America had to do something, and people kept saying, oh, America's going to be left out. Oh, they're teaming up against America. And I said, no, they're teaming up against the United States Incorporated. That is not America. That's a team of bloodline families that usurped authority from our republic. America is fine. We have a constitution for our republic that says the only thing that can be used as money is silver and gold. The only thing that can be used to pay off debts is silver and gold. And then behind the scenes, you have 45 states to repeal the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals right here in America. But as early as 2011, you already had Utah and some other states that had passed legislation to use silver and gold to pay for local goods and services. It's just that people didn't know it. Ignorance, they say, is no excuse, because we can study, we can find out, we can learn. And now that we have the internet and we have people that have this information, there's no excuse for us not to know or find out. So we know now that this legislation bolsters financial sovereignty, and it requires coins to be used as legal tender. These coins, though, must be stamped with their weight, their purity, and the mint of origin. While using or accepting gold or silver is an option for you all, the bill mandates that all business that wish to comply or to accept the metals, they have to first be licensed. Trust me, they will, but most licenses will go away as our republic is being restored. That's Dr. Kia Pruitt's commentary. But let's stick with the article. So when they're using silver and gold, it may be optional for us. The merchants that accept them or the business that accept them have to be licensed. And this requires check cashers and money service businesses to accept the metals. It requires them. This is in the state of Florida. So here is a direct quote. This is our ability to give you the financial freedom to be able to protect yourself against the declining value of the dollar, DeSantis said at a press conference in Apopka. The measure also exempts purchases of precious metals like silver and gold from sales taxes, which we've been reporting on the Dr. Kia Pruitt show for years, right? DeSantis pointed this pointing out that gold has tripled in value since 2015 as a hedge against inflation, and what he describes as perennial deficit spending in Washington. This wonderful, tremendous legislation marks one of the most significant state level efforts to integrate precious metals into the broader economy as an alternative to fiat currency. Now you don't have to use fiat. So people keep saying, oh, I can't do anything. Why do I have to, why is Trump taking so long? Why are legislatures taking so long? Why is everybody taking so long? Why? Listen, you could have already been using silver and gold as legal tender. You just had to educate people. You had to be knowledgeable yourself, and you had to be bold enough to. So before this came out, I was granting certain people that would take it for services coins of silver, and it was also an opportunity to teach them. But remember, the 10th Amendment for our Constitution says that local communities have more power than the federal government. Local communities, state communities, your community, me, we have more power than the federal government, and the federal government only has the power that the people give it. Come on in, keep checking in. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, family, for having at least having 352 people in the chat. As you come in, check in, family. Please check in. Let us know where you're hailing from. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Also, I wanted to tell you that it may not just be, or it's not just Florida, okay, that have made this announcement. State by state, they're going to start making these announcements. But we've known this. We've been reporting this for years, right? Here's an article, and this article came out after we've been telling in the news here for years on our channel. So it's no wonder that some people didn't necessarily know if I knew what I was talking about, because there wasn't a lot of articles printed about it. But we would find the articles about different states and say, look, if these states are doing it, other states will follow. The Sound Money Defense League published an article that said that there was a growing trend for states to acknowledge silver and gold as legal tender. Here it says that to date, this was a couple years ago, 45 states have removed some or all taxes from the purchase of gold and silver. Of the 5 states that still apply this outmoded tax purchase of precious metals, most of them are expected to consider ending this tax in 2025 this year. I would venture to say it will be all states that would do so. You can scroll down. I'll leave this article in the description for you. You can look for your state, and it will tell you the taxes that are on the precious metals, or if they don't have taxes at all. So here it says, with the consumer price index running at its highest rate in 40 years, inflation is becoming the most pressing economic issue of our time. States must not waste time in restoring sound money. Here you can see, like Alabama, you click on that, it'll tell you the gold and silver laws. All of these states are listed here. So you'll be able to look at your state and see what the laws are. Now, there may be some states that will try to not listen. There may be some states that will say, we don't care if legislatures pass a law or not. The governors might not want to comply. Then that's when you use your sovereign authority and you do what the state of Kentucky did, because the state of Kentucky had actually made silver and gold legal tender last year. They were the 45th state to do so, and we reported on that as soon as it happened. But the governor, Andy Beshear, decided that he didn't want to remove the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to wait on the governor. You don't have to wait on the mayor. You don't have to wait on the president. You can use your own sovereign power to move things along. And now that you know you're sovereign, you have more steam, you have more courage, you have what it takes to get to it. So what happened was Governor Andy Beshear did not want to acknowledge the law that was passed, or legality that was passed, that you could no longer put taxes on the sales of precious metals. So 3 Kentucky taxpayers, or citizens, what they call them, filed a class action lawsuit along with a major precious metals company, and they sued Governor Andy Beshear. And they said that they were standing not for the state of Kentucky alone and those three people and that precious metals company, but everybody in this country. You want to talk about kahunas? You want to talk about courage? I love it. They recognized their sovereign ability and they sued the governor. I'll leave that in the description section for you to read as well. And I'll just go ahead and put that in the chat right here. I won't be able to stay on long because I got an important phone call to get to. So what is legal tender? It's just a form of money. And it is a way for the states or the legislatures to come up with or create some type of form of money based on the legislation that they pass. But we don't need legislatures. They're just doing that to, use the tool of the deep state to go ahead and put that on the books because we already have our republic, our constitution for our republic that said only silver and gold can be used as money. But legal tender is a form of money that the courts of law are required to recognize as satisfactory payments in court for any monetary debt. See, satisfactory in court. Courts are going to be done away with because the court system, the legal system, is not part of our constitution. All attorneys and judges have Esquire behind their names, which means they had to pass the British accredited registry or the bar, which means they have a title of nobility. In essence, they work for the British queen and the British crown. They don't work for we the people. They may not have even known that passing the bar means that they have a title of nobility. But according to our republic and our constitution for our republic, you may not have a title of nobility and represent the people or create laws or any of that. So a lot of your legislatures, they're going to have to stand down. A lot of the attorneys, a lot of all of them that had passed the bar, they will have to step down. And if they desire to be an expert in law or to move along or pass laws or whatever, then they must be retrained in constitutional law. That is not only just part of NASARA, but that is a mandate by our republic. The republic has its own constitution, and it was created by our ancestors who came before us to ensure that we were protected. So legal tender is just a form of money. Each jurisdiction determines what is legal tender, but essentially it's anything which, when offered, which means tender, or offered in payment of a debt, it extinguishes that debt. There's no obligation on any creditor to accept the tender payment, but the act of tendering the payment in legal tender discharges the debt. So you don't have to take it if you don't want it for goods and services, but it discharges the debt. So legal tender was something else, maybe the USD, but now it's gold. And that essentially it means it pays off the debt, but also it means merchants really do have to, even though, Wikipedia says they don't have to accept it. Actually, they do, because gold is the standard according to our republic. It just hasn't been widely published, and a lot of people just doesn't know. So it's generally only mandatory to recognize the payment of legal tender in the discharge of a monetary debt from a debtor to a collector. That's what legal tender is. But you have those laws or legalities that are passing that said silver and gold are legal tender, but you still have the Constitution that says silver and gold is money. Sellers offering to enter into a contract or relationship, such as a contract for the sale of goods, don't need to accept legal tender and may instead contractually require payment using electronic methods or foreign currencies or other legally recognized objects of value. Oh my God, I got to show you this foreign currencies component. Then I got to take this call. It's so important. Oh, they're going to think I'm ignoring them. Okay, see, this is Wikipedia legal tender. Look. Generally mandatory to recognize the payment of legal tender in the discharge of monetary debt from a debtor to a creditor. Sellers offering to enter into a contract or relationship, such as a contract for the sale of goods, do not need to accept legal tender and may instead contractually require payment using electronic methods, which we have electronic methods way of paying, and that's why you have XRP and digital coins, digital assets, but also foreign currencies or other legal recognized objects of value. Coins and banknotes are usually defined as legal tenders in many countries, but personal checks, credit cards, and similar cash methods of payments are usually not. Some jurisdictions may include a specific foreign currency as legal tender, at times as its exclusive legal tender, or concurrently with its domestic currency. Then it goes on to talk about the etymology of the word, which simply means tender. It means to offer. Okay, that is Middle French. The Latin root is tendere, which is to stretch out, and the sense of tender as an offer is related to the etymology of the English word to extend or to hold outwards. I love studying the etymology of words. That's the root of the word, the true meaning of the words. You always want to know what the etymology of words are as you are breaking down many things, such as the etymology of black, the etymology of white. Those are statuses in law, have nothing to do with color or ethnicity. We need to know the root of the word, the true meaning of words as we move forward as sovereign entities, because we don't desire for another entity such as the United States Incorporated to come up with definitions for terms and then force us to agree with their definitions. We're going to go with the etymology of the words, or we're going to go with what our own personal ancestors have said the meaning of words are. So thank you so much for all of you for being here. Thank you. Salute to you too, family. Make sure you hit the like button. I see Kat here, who is one of our Soul Tribe members. Love Being Nubian is here. She's one of our Soul Tribe members. Hi, Kat. Kat says you were watching a video yesterday on the gram where a man was trying to arrest somebody and a guy came in and threw him down to the ground. Okay, y'all talking to each other. Yes, all lawyers can be sued for any money that were paid for any court case because they lied to everyone. They never told you that they took an oath to the courts and not the clients. Thank you so much, Don, for telling us that. He's not a Soul Tribe. He's not part of the membership group, but he is a part of our Soul Tribe. Amen. All right, fam. Did I see your comment on the last video? No, please let me know what it is. Brother Delbert Brown's in the house. He gave me a phenomenal book that I want to share with you all because I've been reading it, that I love as a gift. Thank you so much. He's a part of our Soul Tribe. You guys, I appreciate you being here. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are in the gold business, please contact your local coin dealer, because you may want to get silver and gold now, constitutional silver that they call junk silver, or you may also want to exchange the gold for whatever currency that we're going to be using in the future that's backed by gold. So it's always a good idea to know your local merchants and to establish a relationship. I talked to my coin dealer a couple of weeks ago, and they gave me a lot of information about the gold standard. Well, they confirmed what I knew, and they were like, that's why you've been coming in here. They were told that they were being trained to accept silver and gold for payments, and they were trained that they were about to be extremely busy. That's my local silver and gold coin collector here in my state in Florida. But many coin collectors all over the states were trained and informed they're about to be really busy because they have the information before we do that we're moving towards the gold standard. If you desire to get silver and gold at a very good, reasonable price, then contact Miles Franklin at 952-929-7006, or you can send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know you heard about gold and silver from the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. You will get the best prices in the industry, and you will get the white glove treatment. That means you hands on, all hands on. I have my personal broker there. I'm treated well, and I often look at the prices that I get with Miles Franklin. I compare them to my local coin dealer. One time I saved over $300, but that might have been because of the purchase that I got. But yeah, because, when you deal with somebody that's an online dealer and they have, lots of business, they can afford to give you breaks. Whereas local coin dealers and merchants, they don't have that opportunity. They need to make money. Okay, that's their bread and butter. That's how they eat. So family, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I apologize for having to rush off, but we've been here for about 38 minutes. I love you all so much. Basically, Florida has passed the legislation for silver and gold to be used as legal tender, and your state will follow. As I showed you the article that said 45 states to date have already legalized silver and gold as money. that not only aligns with the Constitution for our republic, but it aligns with the Kingsworld article that I've been talking to you all about since February 2023. And what is that? You guys probably remember what that article says, because I've been showing you so many times, so often, that it says the world is hurtling back towards gold as money. So if you want to get gold and silver, go to your local coin dealer or contact our affiliate, Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company, or look for gold backs. That's gold RM notes. Those gold RM notes are 14 karat gold pressed onto a note. 14 karat 0.999 pure gold, real gold pressed onto a note. Those notes are typically either 1/100th of a troy ounce, and some of them are 1/1000th of a troy ounce of real gold. They can be used right now for local goods and services to pay off debts, and with some merchants to buy groceries, is what I heard here in Florida, is what the coin dealer told me. Soon it's coming that you'll be able to buy groceries with silver and gold. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all of those that contributed to my show by donating to my Cash App, $ Mama Kia 13. That's $ MAMAKIA 13. And if you are interested in joining our membership group, the Silver Soul Tribe membership group, which is a private group of investors that talk about precious metals, we talk about different currencies. We encourage each other and we confer which currencies we think would be a good investment. And we also research different countries. Then join us right here on the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. You can look on my main YouTube channel, or you can go to any of my video. You will see a join button right beside a subscribe button. Click on that join button, follow the prompts, and you're in as a Silver Soul Tribe member. So I love you, family. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt, and I trust that I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Happy Friday! On tomorrow, we will have Chief Pontiac, also known as Chief Rod Hayes, to come onto the show to talk about these 17 pardons that Trump just did and his commutation of the sentence of Larry Hoover, what that means, why it happened now, and how we're going to move forward now that we have this new knowledge. We'll let you know the time coming later. And later on today, we're going to show you part 2 of Princess Elizabeth Rodriguez Ruiz, who would trigger trillions of dollars and inject them to the global economy, because she is the head of the Marcos Fund, which a lot of people don't know, the King Solomon Fund, and all those other grants or all those other trusts, St. Germain Trust. She is one of the key components that will trigger all of that money coming to the global economy. Stay tuned for that show coming on or premiering tonight, later on around 8 o'clock. I love you. Peace, family. Take care. Bye-bye.